Hey everybody, how you doing? Well, that's good. Welcome to the PHLY Flyers postgame presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app. Use code PHLY365 when you sign up. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. My name is Bill Matz. I'm your director of fun and games for the evening. Joining me tonight, it is Broad Street Hockey's own Kelly Hinkle. And before we get started, we just got to shout out JH. We're not even live yet, and there's 2 super chats on the board. Like, we love you, JH. Yeah. There's a lot of regular contributors. We love you all, but it's just wild to see JH up there before like my face is even on the screen. All right, so tonight the Flyers lose 6-3 to Calgary. It is Farabee, even though I'm not positive he played, and Frost's homecoming, first time back in Philly since the trade on January 30th. Kuzmenko and Peltier, first time against their old team. It was a pretty freaking wild night, Kelly. We saw Sam Ersson in the, how many minutes did he play? In 9 minutes and 32 seconds of action. 9.5 minutes of action, surrender 3 goals on 5 shots.
Is that good?
Get pulled before the halfway point of the first period for Ivan Fedotov, who should have started all along. We'll bust Charlie's balls about that in a little bit. But I will say, while this is a bummer of a way to kick off a 7-game homestand, coming into tonight, the Flyers had won 4 of 5. They'd picked up 9 of the last 10 points, 10 of the last 14 points. It's tough to be like mad about the performance, but the one thing I do want to ask Charlie, they even mentioned it, I think, on the broadcast, but we saw it on Twitter a day or 2 ago. We can probably just blame Sam Ersson for this one. Like, 3 goals in the first 5 shots. That's bad. Really tough to recover from.
Game's over.
But we heard that maybe it was just 3-on-3 specific, but John Tortorella had to straight up like stop practice the other day because he didn't like the way his team was defending. You think he's happy tonight? Like, do you think they really responded to that coaching tonight? Like, maybe the trade deadline chatter is just starting to be too much. Maybe this was just a 1-game aberration when your goalie gives up 3 goals in 9.5 minutes. It's like, we're going to play a ridiculous game. Who knows? But I wonder how happy Torts is after a 5-goal, well, 6, but 5 against a goalie sort of performance tonight. While we can just blame Ayers, it was a rough game overall.
It was, but the 3 goals on 5, like, you're not even halfway through the first, and you're in a 3-goal hole. Like, game's over. You're done.
Tell that to the 2010 team.
Oh, fair enough. Okay.
It's comparable, the amount of talent.
Well, is it? They had a goalie. So, what was I going to say?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Yeah. Okay. So the defense wasn't great tonight, but I also feel like maybe you just think like we're down 3. We got to just like go hard on offense. Like we got to get out of this hole. So we're just going to like run and gun it.
And once it's like 3-2 in the first, it's kind of like there is no more structure. There's no more playing the right way.
Yeah.
This is going to be a BS game, and we just kind of have to open it up. And it seemed the second period was kind of boring as hell.
It was, yes.
There was that one power play goal, but that was really it. But that first period, that's kind of the story of the game, is you give up.
Yeah.
Even though you do fight back a little in the in that first period, it's like like 2 saves on 5 shots. That's tough to recover from. And
not good.
Charlie did make the point on Twitter tonight, like a lot of the chatter of they should have started Fedotov is kind of hindsight. But I was talking about it the other day. When was the last time they played? Saturday. He played very well against the NHL's #1 team, and they have a ton of games coming up. Maybe see if you can get another one out of him. Now, it's not like he was awesome tonight, but he was pretty good. He gave them a chance.
He let in 3 goals on way more than 5 shots.
Yes, certainly did. And really 2, because the other one's an empty netter.
Yeah.
And one's on the power play, and that was going to end eventually. They killed like 14 or 15 straight.
Right.
But The thing is, I was talking about it Saturday. It's just like, I don't know. Let's figure out what the hell this guy is, too. And also, while Ersson, yes, for the most part since Christmas, has been very good. Gave up 5 goals on 25 shots in his last start. Coming in since the break, he was at like 866. He's down to 833 since the Four Nations break. We have seen Sam Ersson for stretches, like in these, whatever you want to call it, since Christmas, since they came back from the trip. Since then, he's been pretty good. He's had one of those stretches where you go, man, Sam Ersson really is something. And now he's in one of those stretches where you go, this is why I don't think he's a number one. I do believe he is a overall pretty, at least acceptable NHL goaltender. I think he'd be very good in a tandem. I think he'd be very good as a backup.
Yes.
But he is inconsistent. And it's not just one bad start. It is an accumulation. Like 3 of his last 4 appearances haven't been good. And that's not a number one. Everyone has a bad game. Like that happens. Like, you know, Patrick Waugh got traded because he was like, I'm done here because they left him in for 7 or 9 or whatever the hell happened. You can have one. Everyone does. But when it's, yeah, man, he's been 3 out of the last 4, not very good. You go, well, what is he? He's what we've seen, inconsistent.
Yeah, and we were talking during the game, like, the argument that, like, oh, yeah, sure, Fedotov had a good game on Saturday, but that doesn't matter. You got to go back to your guy. Like, but why is Ersson our guy?
Like, Ersson is the guy.
We're giving him a lot of grace that seems kind of unearned to me. Like, he's just the guy because the other guys were worse than him.
And it's not as if anyone's saying, like, oh, man, give Fedotov 15 of the last 20.
No.
Like, no.
He was good Saturday.
Just let's see if we can get another one out of him.
Maybe
let's
today.
Just see.
Yeah.
Like, it's still going to be a ton of Ersson starts down the stretch unless he continues to falter and we continue to see a pretty good Fedotov. Then maybe, like, halfway through this month, it switches a little, but it's going to take a ton of bad Ersson starts for that to be the case. Yeah. And honestly, I don't think Fedotov is going to like continue to look pretty good. So it's not going to happen, I would guess.
Who can say?
Who knows? His goaltending. Maybe he has 4 shutouts in a row. Like it could be anything, but
what's the most we've seen him start in a row?
It's 2? 2?
Yeah, like I don't know. Maybe he strings together 5 good games.
It's
Who can
just
say?
Like the idea, like Sam Ersson comes into the game with a career save percentage of .893 and a season save percentage of .893.
One might say
he's just okay. He's just like okay. We'll see if there's something else there. But yes, the idea that he's this team's number one, oh, he is
by default.
But like, who's the number 2?
Like by accident.
Like the number 2 goalie on this team has been benched for a month twice this year.
Yeah.
Like he's a 28-year-old rookie.
But why? Yeah, I don't know.
They don't. The other guy doesn't play at all. He's just threatening to go back to Belarus, so they can't play him. They can't send him down, and he's just hanging out, getting practice. Like they don't have another goalie. That's kind of the situation,
right?
So when you get a good outing out of one of these guys, why not try to back it up?
Ride the hot hand.
So
I
now,
didn't make that phrase up. That's a phrase that people say all the time because it's a thing that teams do.
So now, with Fedotov having started Saturday against the Jets, and he plays the vast majority, 48-59 tonight, so 49 minutes tonight, is it going to be Ersson again on Thursday?
100%.
Probably, right?
I think so, yeah.
Fedotov
100%.
did just beat the Jets, and it's the Jets again, so maybe you try to get that, but I think they're going to go back to Ersson. Like, if I had to bet, I bet they go back to Ersson.
Yeah, I would bet, but if it were up to me, I would start Fedotov.
Why? Like,
because why not?
What's the difference?
Yeah, like what's going to happen? They're going to lose? Or like I don't understand. It's just like I don't get it. Like he beat them on Saturday. He played a more solid game than Ersson tonight.
25 of 27, 926.
Yeah, okay, that's
pretty good.
I'm not saying that like long term Fedotov is like the answer or that long term he's going to be better than Sam Ersson. I don't know that.
I don't think he's the answer next week.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like 3 days from now.
But there's 4 games this week.
But like today probably should have played him. Thursday probably ought to start him. Will that happen? Probably not, because I don't think John Tortorella likes him.
And also,
I think it's because he's tall.
There's the back-to-back. Yeah, John Tortorella is...
He's not tall. He's Italian.
A shorter gentleman.
So, you know.
He's Italian. There are tall Italians. Some, right?
Maybe.
I don't know. Like, there is the back-to-back this weekend. So Fedotov is obviously going to get at least one more start this week.
You would think.
But, like, he starts Saturday, plays the vast majority Tuesday. Does he then start Thursday and then Sunday? Like, he gets most of the games this week? I doubt it.
It seems very unlikely.
It seems unlikely
based on John Tortorella's past decision making.
He's been benched for a month twice.
I just don't see what it would hurt.
I don't really.
Based on the available evidence, it would hurt nothing.
I fail to see the difference.
No.
Now I want to get to one of our newest segments we have here. It is the Ace Hardware temperature check. Let's take a look at whether a Flyers player is heating up or cooling off with our Ace Hardware temp check. Visit Ace Hardware Home Services online at acehardwarehomeservices.com to get started on your next project. The player we're checking in on, it's going to be heating up Noah Cates. And I don't think he's heating up. I think it's July.
Yeah.
It's July for Noah Cates right now. Scores a goal tonight.
Boy.
It's his 14th. He's got 4 goals and 6 points in his last 4 games. And we got a tweet tonight, and this is something I want to ask Charlie about.
Okay.
From Ross the Boss 20. What happens if Kate scores 20 this year? And
we all go crazy.
Like, he has a contract coming up. He's an RFA. He's got 1 more year before he's a free agent, and we have 2 hours on Friday to talk about stuff like this. There might not be any trades Friday for the Flyers or the whole rest of the league because that's the way trade deadline day goes.
Yeah.
So we have 2 hours to talk about stupid stuff like this Friday. But just your perception of Noah Cates. Let's start there. He breaks the 20-goal mark this season.
Yeah.
There's 20 games left. He needs 6 goals. What does that mean for you?
I don't know. I mean, it would be cool. I really like Noah Cates.
Yeah.
What if he got offer sheeted? Wouldn't that be funny?
Here's the thing.
Because it wouldn't have to be like a huge... Like, you could probably get him for a pretty good number, and he's a pretty effective player.
He is.
Then again, the Flyers have a ton of cap space, so they will just match. But
they will with the you don't have to re-sign Morgan Frost now. Right. Obviously, you have the $5 million off the books of Joel Farabee.
It'd be funny, though.
They could probably figure it out, but you do have to look down the line like Edmonton did and go, we're getting Draisaitl done. We need to get McDavid done in a year. Every dollar we spend on someone else is a dollar we can't give those guys. Yeah. Like, you have other RFAs you need to re-sign. Matvei Michkov, you're going to want to give him as much money as you can for as long as you can, as soon as you can, which is next summer.
Yep.
Like, this could be a Dylan Holloway situation. Now, I doubt it. I doubt anyone's looking at, you know who we need to steal? Noah Cates. But if suddenly he's a 20-goal shutdown guy, like, you have to think about it. Could he get Selke votes again? Like,
yeah.
Maybe you think it's interesting.
Not, but
so
it's funny. That's the kind of offer sheet that I feel like is like, I don't know, kind of like the sneakiest kind of offer sheet.
I think it's going to be a little more prevalent based on what the Blues did, just like with the cap going up, we can overspend a little on a certain guy. And if he keeps up this pace like he's on right now, he might be attractive. I just wonder. I wonder how it would go. That is our...
I do think he's just 100% the Couturier replacement.
Could be. That is our Ace Hardware temp check. Visit acehardwarehomeservices.com to get started on your next project. The thing I will say about Noah Cates is, while this is a very impressive run and he's having one hell of a year, shooting like 17%.
That's high.
Chances are, even with save percentages lowering the way they are, he is not a guy who is going to shoot close to 20%. Like, that would be really, really surprising. So if you think you're going to get this sort of scoring pace out of him regularly, I would say, good for him. Like, he's doing it in a year where he's got to sign a contract. Like, great. That's when you want to break out as a player. Good for you, man. But I wonder if this front office, just because they like him, or another front office, as you said, is going to be like, yeah, we need to pay him like a 2C, when really
No.
he is that like 2015, 2016 Coots. Yeah, he's not going to score you a ton. He can score you some, but that's not what we're paying him to do. The offense is just the cherry on top.
I think that the front office knows what we have been saying about him and that entire line for the entire season. That when this is your third line, you got a good team. And I think that this front office knows.
Just that they're the first line right now.
Right now they're the first line, but they're not supposed to be. So I don't think they're going to pay him like he's not a third line center, because I think that they probably firmly understand that, like.
Oh, just got some bummer news from Charlie O'Connor. The NHL took Michkov's goal away. It is it's now
Sean
Coots's.
Couturier, why would you do this?
I really, really thought that there was
a little daylight.
I thought that puck crossed the line before Coots knocked it in. I wonder if there will be.
I need someone to review that again.
Like, this could very well be. We saw Coots go down the line first. This could be Michkov being like, that's Coots' goal. It is still an assist for Matvei Michkov, but that's a bummer. That was the whole point of tonight's game. Yeah, Vince Pellegrini. We know Vince. He's better than Leon Draisaitl.
People forget that.
I know. It's very funny, but that is a damn.
Why
stinks.
would you take that away from him?
Because the NHL hates him.
It does.
The NHL wants Macklin Celebrini to win the Calder Trophy.
And they're still mad at him for yelling at the referee, for blowing the whistle in his ear.
Is that what it is?
They're still holding,
trying to deafen him.
We're still talking about that in Toronto.
Yeah, I'm sure they're still just upset about the you're not allowed to deafen a child. I wonder if there's like a further look at it. Like, I don't know. That overhead view looked as if it was Michkov's goal. That's all.
I thought I saw a little sliver of daylight in between the goal line and that puck, but I guess not.
I thought so too. All right, I want to talk a little bit more about Mish and him up against one of his Calder Trophy counterparts. But before we go any further, got to tell you about a couple of our sponsors, starting with TrueMark Financial Credit Union. It's almost spring, and that means it's time to spring into savings. And if you have financial goals, whether it's buying a house, taking that dream vacation, or building your emergency fund, TrueMark Financial Credit Union has the perfect savings account for you. TrueMark Financial offers high-rate certificates and money market accounts to help your money grow faster and work harder for you. Visit TrueMark.com for rates to learn more. Federally insured by the NCUA. Rates are subject to change. TrueMark Financial is an equal opportunity lender. And while we're here, I got to tell you about Bet365. That's right, our presenting sponsor. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Tonight, I, of course, had the wrong former player against his old team to score. Frost picks up a couple of assists. Farabee, I'm not positive he played, but it was Kuzmenko who put a puck in the net against his former team. Unfortunately, we bet the two Flames and neither of the former Flames. So that's where we are. But regardless of what your bet is, I have been making all of my bets at Bet365's sportsbook this year. It's my sportsbook of choice, and I think it should be yours too. So check it out now. And we have breaking news from Bet365. New customers now get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5, win or lose. All you got to do is sign up, use the code PHLY365, deposit $10 and place a bet for $5 to get $150 in bonus bets, whether your bet wins or loses. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, player props, futures, and more. Or whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or older and physically located in PA. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. So we do not have, at least for now, Matvei Michkov's 20th goal. I wanted to show this fun little graphic that we had a couple of games ago. I thought he had tied Tyson Forster, RJ Umberger, Simone Gagne, and Bill Sutherland for 10th most by a Flyers rookie. But with 20 games remaining, you got to believe he gets there and then some. On the other end, his Calder Trophy counterpart, one of the four favorites at least. Man, Dustin Wolf, I realize Lane Hutson's going to have the offensive numbers. Macklin Celebrini, he's going to win the thing because that's what the NHL's decided already.
Yeah.
His team that everyone believes should be selling into the playoffs, he should at least be a finalist. He stops 25 of 28 for an .893 tonight. He was pretty impressive, I thought, with some big saves at the end. Even like the Michkov, now Couturier goal, like it's a flutterer that gets behind him. The Kuzmenko goal looked like it kind of backed off the defenseman a little bit and just kind of beat him. He thought it was going to hit him like in the logo. He scrunches up and then suddenly it's to the side of him. I thought he was really good. I don't know what his long-term success is going to be just because it looks a little small out there. It looks like there's some room up top. Brian Boucher pointed it out on the broadcast, but I thought he looked pretty freaking good.
So it was explained to me by someone who understands goaltending that the smallness doesn't matter much because they do a thing called box control. It has something to do with like the idea that the puck coming in and going up, like Bush is talking about getting up over him this way. It has to go through like a series of like small invisible boxes. You know what I mean? Like it's got to go through this box and then this box before it gets up and behind him. And NHL goaltenders now do a thing with the way that they keep their arms to try to mitigate that kind of thing. Anyway, I don't think it matters that he's small. I'm more impressed by him than I am like -20 Lane Hudson with a bunch of stupid assists. Honestly, like if there's going to be 3 finalists, it should be Celebrini, Michkov, and Wolf.
I would think so. And listen, maybe you want to come and see that Lane Hudson up close. Maybe you want to see if this guy is all we're hearing from all the Montreal fans. Well, you can do it, and you can do it with PHLY and Philly Sports Trips. Just go to allphly.com right now, and you can book a trip to Montreal. You only have a few more days to do it. I think we have till like Friday to get this done. So the trade deadline, not just the trade deadline, it is also the Montreal trip deadline. So head to allphly.com and book this right now. It's going to be a great time. I'm going, Charlie's going, Kelly's going. It's going to be a ton of fun. Philly Sports Trips, there we go. Puts on a hell of an event. Brian Prop meet and greet. There's going to be a pregame party. All sorts of fun on the horizon in Montreal. So make sure you join us. Allphly.com, hit that events tab, scroll down, find the Montreal trip, and make sure you book it and join us. All different tiers of different travel options, different hotel options. So whatever you want to do, make sure you come to Montreal with us April 4th to the 7th. Did you signal me? I thought, Brent, no, okay, we do not have Charlie. So that's, all right. I thought Andrei Kuzmenko looked pretty damn good tonight as well.
I love this dude. He's so fun. He's fun. I know we can't keep him, but I really want to keep him. But maybe we can keep him. Maybe he'll want to stay.
A goal and an assist tonight for Kuzmenko.
Yeah, he looks good out there.
Basically creates his own goal in the neutral zone, gets a takeaway, brings it in himself, rips the shot, gets it by Dustin Wolf. That's his goal tonight. He plays the 3rd most ice time amongst forwards, over 18 and a half minutes tonight.
Well earned, I think.
And that's, well, look at that. Just as we're about to start a new topic, here is Philadelphia's #1 hockey beat writer, Charlie O'Connor, coming to us live from the Wells Fargo Center following that 6-3 defeat to the Calgary Flames. All right, Charlie, your thoughts on the game and any standout comments from the locker room to get things started.
Yeah, well, this game, I think it's abundantly clear what happened. The starting goalie did not have it. And that's it. It really boils down to that. Now, I thought the second period, the Flyers going down 4-2, it's a tough spot, but it's not over. I didn't think they played well at all in the second period. I thought Calgary controlled that period. That said, it's very tough to play a good game when your starting goalie gives up 2 goals that I don't want to be too mean because I think Ersson's been mostly good for the last 6 weeks, really since Christmas. But those are goals that an AHL goalie should stop. And sometimes a goalie just doesn't have it. And Ersson just didn't have it tonight. And I don't really think that this is a game where you really need to dive any deeper than that. When the starting goalie basically spots the other team a 3-goal lead within the first, 6 minutes?
Half he played.
Yeah. So there's not really much a team's going to be able to do, especially then when the backup goalie comes in. They cut the lead to 3-2, and then the backup goalie gives up the third incredibly weak goal of the period. Like, that's what happened in this game, in my opinion.
So that first period, just starting with Sam Ersson, you think he just didn't have it tonight? Like, is it just one of those games? He shouldn't really be exhausted. He hasn't played since Thursday. Is this kind of part of the Sam Ersson experience? Is it just, every goalie has a bad game? Like, how would you categorize this one? Like, something to be concerned about, or something to just go, one of those nights?
Well, it's something to be concerned about, because you want to see your projected number one goalie not have games like this. And obviously his last game, he wasn't very good either against the Penguins. So now you're going on 2 consecutive poor performances. So it's something worth worrying about, because he's the guy you're expecting to carry the load down the stretch. Now, I guess obviously if you're rooting for the team to lose to improve their draft slot, then this isn't a bad thing if Sam Ersson's turning into a pumpkin. But if you want to see the Flyers finish strong, it's a very bad thing, because they're depending upon Sam Ersson to play at least solid hockey the rest of the way. And as I noted, since Christmas, leading into that Pittsburgh game, Ersson was playing really, really well. And it wasn't even just for the Flyers. He played a really good game for Sweden at the Four Nations tournament. So this has kind of come out of nowhere. The Penguins game was rough. This was worse than that, and that Penguins game wasn't very good either. So to be worse than that shows that he's now on a downward trajectory. Now, can he fix it real quick? Very possible. And the players we talked to in the locker room expressed confidence that Ersson is resilient enough that he'll be able to shake this one off. But it's not just a one-off. These are 2 consecutive games where he's played poorly, so you can't just dismiss it. Now, I also don't want to forget the fact that Ersson played really well in the weeks leading up to this, but it's 2 straight bad games, and it would be unfair to just pretend that 2 straight bad games don't matter. They matter.
8:33 since coming back from the Four Nations break. But Charlie, the other day in practice, it was noted, maybe this was just a 3-on-3 specific thing, but after hearing Torts was pissed about the way they were defending in practice the other day, what did you think of the way they defended tonight? Was this just a goalie issue? Was it also the team in front of him? What did you think of the team in front of Sam Ersson and Ivan Fedotov?
Well, I think when Torts mentioned that he was ticked off at how they were defending, he specifically meant how they were defending during the 3-on-3. I don't think he had any issue with the way they were defending really at 5-on-5. I mean, they just held Winnipeg, a high-powered team, one of the best teams in hockey, to a single goal, 3-4 nights ago. So I really don't think Tortorella had any issue with how the Flyers were defending leading up to this game, aside from how they were defending at 3-on-3. That was a very specific issue that they addressed by practicing 3-on-3 and practicing switches and practicing staying on your man, things like that. This game, were they great defensively? No, they weren't great at anything in this game, though. Tortorella noted that he thought the biggest issue was that they weren't connected. And that's been the big issue all season for this team. When they play poorly, it's because they're not playing connected. Because, you have big gaps between the forwards and defensemen. You have guys, cherry picking all the time. You have, guys not running the right zone defenses in the defensive zone. This was just a bad game all around, but I have to believe that it all stems from the goaltending, because once you lack confidence in your goalies, and how could they have confidence in their goalies after the 2 goals that Sam Ersson gave up, it kind of lets everything else often fall by the wayside. I suspect that's what happened in this game. If Ersson comes back and has a strong game against Winnipeg, or if they go with Fedotov for the next game, I don't know what the plan's going to be, and he has a strong game against Winnipeg for the second straight time, I think the structure is going to come back. But it's fair to say that the skaters didn't play well either. I don't think, though, I don't think the fact that they gave up 6 goals means that the defense, was bad and that they didn't play good defense. They didn't play good anything, but I don't think you should just point to the goal total and say, well, the defense was bad. Nah, it was just everything.
Charlie, it appears as if Matvei Michkov has been stripped of his 20th goal of the season. What is your level of outrage? Because mine is a 69 out of 10.
Well, I guess I'll throw the question to you guys, because in the arena, we see the live thing, and then we see an occasional replay up on screen. So I'm not, look, you guys can be angry on principle because you just want everything good to happen to Michkov, regardless of whether it's deserved or not. I'm only going to get angry if I actually think he scored the goal and I didn't see enough to know one way or the other. So did he actually score the goal based on the multiple replays I'm sure you guys looked at?
Yeah, I think there was a little bit of daylight between the goal line and the puck before Couturier touched it. It was very close, though.
The overhead angle, it looked as if there was some ice, like some daylight, and then immediately Couturier sticks. It was very, very hard to tell. Honestly, to me, like, I don't know how you overturn it unless they got a better look at it. They're able to pause it and everything. But obviously, this is a big conspiracy from Canada to stop Michkov from being the first 20-goal scoring rookie this season. That's my outrage level. But it's
the only logical conclusion.
I just thought it was odd that they changed it. It looked like Couturier right away, and then the replay, I was like, I think that's Mish, but who the hell knows? Maybe it goes back. Who's to say?
I would say it wouldn't be the last time that they change a goal twice, where maybe they look at it on even slower with it magnified, and then they decide that it's actually a Michkov goal. Yeah, look, it's hard for me to tell in my mentions whether people are actually mad or if they're just like, well, if they had their choice, every single good thing in the world would happen to Matvei Michkov.
I think it's both.
Why can't it be both, Charlie?
It's close enough where it's like, how isn't this just going to Michkov? But I honestly did think he scored it, but it's impossible to tell.
Sean Couturier should be ashamed of himself.
I also think the Calgary Flames won the 2004 Stanley Cup because that puck crossed the line, and like allegedly it didn't. Who's to say? Go ahead, Kelly.
Okay. So, Charlie, we were talking about the defense earlier. One guy I think kind of had like a quietly good game was Jamie Drysdale. I thought he made a couple of pretty good plays and he looked pretty solid overall. What was your impression of him tonight?
I mean, he's been playing pretty well. Obviously, he had a strong game against Winnipeg, a really strong game, and he's been good for the last, I would say, couple weeks. Really since they returned from the break, but he was showing positive signs even before then. I wouldn't say that he jumped out at me as anything spectacular, but he certainly didn't jump out at me as having an obviously poor game. There was nothing about his play that made me step back and say he's obviously regressing. I actually thought out of the defenseman in the game, and this is certainly not a bad thing for the Flyers, I thought Ristolainen was the steadiest and strongest. So if there were any scouts in the building looking to send a report back to their general manager if they were interested in potentially upping their offer, at the very least, I don't think he did anything to hurt himself or hurt the Flyers in that regard, because I thought he had his typically solid game. But Drysdale, I maybe didn't see as many of those things as you did, Kelly, but I certainly didn't see him making any like glaring mistakes. I thought it was another perfectly fine game from a guy who's been playing pretty good hockey for a little bit now.
A random thing that just popped into my head. It seemed like about halfway through the game, there was some jumbling of the lines, as one does. What did you think? It looked like they might have swapped Tippett and Kuzmenko at some point. What did you think of the way that John ran the lines in this game?
Well, the one that I noticed in particular was it seemed like they swapped Lawton and Poehling. They had Poehling spending some shifts with Konecny. And I really think at its core, this is mostly about trying to get Travis Konecny going. And you could tell when he rang that one off the post just how frustrated he is. We interviewed him after the game, and I think it was Kevin Kurz who asked him, how he's feeling about his game. And Konecny basically was just like, I think you can guess. I'm really frustrated, and I'm trying to work through it. And Tortorella more or less said the same thing. They need more from him. It's obvious he's frustrated. Hopefully the floodgates are going to open up for him. But I think the juggling of the lines more than anything else is meant to try to get Konecny going, because obviously they love the Cates line. Understandably, that line was strong all game. Again, it was the only line in the second period that was doing anything. Michkov gets his sort of goal with Couturier. Tippett was on that line. I thought, at least for most of the third period. That said, I was doing a lot of writing in the third period because I'd rather not have to stay up until 3 a.m. writing on this game. And it looked pretty much over. So I was getting a little work done. I wasn't watching the game with a super duper critical eye at that point. To me, though, I thought the main switch they made was dropping Lawton down with Delorier and moving Poehling up, maybe to try to get TK going. And that's going to be the big thing over the next week, 2 weeks, however long it takes. They need to get Travis Konecny back on the score sheet and feeling good about his game.
Charlie said the Noah Cates line was, especially in like that second, the only one that really had anything going. So Cates gets his 14th tonight. I got a tweet asking, what if he gets to 20? Now we have, the deadline and all offseason to talk about a potential contract, all that stuff. But he needs 6 goals in the final 20 games to get there. The pace he's on, like the last few weeks, doable. What would that do for your perception of Noah Cates if he breaks 20 this year?
Not much.
Okay.
It's one of those like thresholds that like fans and I guess media care about. It's not going to really change my view of him. I think he's a really solid player who can be a part of this for the next, 5-6 years at least. But if he finishes with 18 goals versus 20 goals, like, I don't know, 20 goals is more impressive because more goals is more impressive than fewer goals. But it's not really something I'm looking at as, well, if he scores 20, that means he could be a second line center. But if he scores 18, that means he's only a middle six center. Like, I like him for what he is, but I don't think him, getting a couple empty netters at the end of the year that boosts him to 20 is going to change my view of him. I'm already very, very high on Noah Cates, and I believe he should be part of the long-term solution, long-term future. I just think that that's probably more as a middle six matchup guy rather than a top half of the lineup guy.
All right, Chuck, one more before 3 stars. Did Joel Farabee actually play in this game?
He did have some chances. He had that one breakaway that got stopped. Yeah. But it was very clear that Morgan Frost was the more effective of the 2 former Flyers. I just think Farabee, for whatever reason, like this is just a lost year for him. Because he only has 1 goal in now 11 games with the Flames since the trade, no assists. It just seems like he's the guy who maybe he just needs a summer to reset because Frost has been productive decently at least with the Flames, but Frost was more productive than Farabee even before the trade with the Flyers. So maybe it shouldn't be surprising that Frost is playing better hockey than Farabee, but I don't know what's up with Joel Farabee. Look, it's hard to change locations, change teams, but he was doing this even before the trade. This is just an extension of what was happening in Philadelphia this season. I have to believe that maybe he just needs a reset, and that just might not come until the end of the year.
All right, it's time. That's right. It's time for Charlie O'Connor's 3 stars of the game, presented by our friends at Rite Aid. Charlie, without further ado, who is star number 3?
Yeah, star number 3, I'm actually going to go with a Flyer. I'm going to go with Noah Cates. Again, strong game by Noah. Has that big goal that kind of put the Flyers back into it before the weak goal allowed by Fedotov sort of killed it. Just another all-around good game by Noah Cates. Easily the Flyers' best line. He's the guy who drives it. Noah Cates, 3rd star.
All right, star number 2.
So number 2, I'll throw it to Morgan Frost. I thought he was good. He was the guy who came out of the 2 of them who seemed to come with the motivation to prove the Flyers wrong. I suspect that motivation was largely directed at one John Tortorella, if anyone, given the fact that he was probably the biggest reason why Morgan Frost never could quite win over the Flyers' brain trust. There was one guy in that room who, from the jump, was like, this guy don't got it, and I'm pretty sure it wasn't Danny Briere. So this was a chance for Morgan Frost to kind of show up as old coach, and I thought he did a good job. He won puck battles, he set up chances, he nearly scored a goal in the first period on a shot from the slot in the power play. He was impactful all game, and I got to give him credit. If he came into this game with something to prove, he did a good job. So Morgan Frost, 2nd star.
Last but not least, tonight's 1st star.
1st star of the game, Connor Zary. 2-goal game, 2 of the first 3 goals. And he did it as a 4th liner. He ended up getting more ice time because I guess they figured, well, he's rolling. We might as well give it to him. But he started this game on the 4th line. And you got to give a guy credit who is pushed down the lineup for a game and still finds a way to make an impact on early shifts because he knows he's not going to get that many of them. I like Connor Zary dating back to his draft year. He was a guy where I really liked the skill. The big question with him was skating. He's not a burner, but he doesn't look slow out there. So he's clearly improved that. And he was a really impactful player for the Calgary Flames in this game. So Connor Zary, 1st star.
All right, those are Charlie O'Connor's 3 stars of the game presented by Rite Aid. Chuck, we will talk to you. Was it Thursday? Thursday's post-game against those Jets for Ivan Fedotov's 2nd big win against the NHL's #1 team. Really looking forward to that. All right, we will talk to you then, Charlie.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Bye, Charlie.
All right, that was Charlie O'Connor, presented by Rite Aid, coming to us live from the Wells Fargo Center. We'll be down there quite a bit over the next 2 weeks with this 7-game homestand. But before we go any further, let's talk about Shady Rays. It is heating up here in Philly, and that means it's time to start thinking about summer, and it's time to start thinking about the sun. Well, our friends at Shady Rays are helping you get in the right frame of mind, get it, with their premium polarized shades that won't break the bank. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company offering a world-class product rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Their sunglasses have durable frames and crystal clear optics, making them a perfect choice for all outdoor adventures. And if you're a skier or a snowboarder, listen, I know it's winding down, but you can still get your snow goggles that'll help you see clearly and look great on the slopes. Available in both adult and kid sizes. And with so many colors available, you'll find a pair that's perfect for you. And if your shades ever go missing or take an unexpected hit, don't sweat it. They have the most insane protection in all of eyewear. Every pair is backed by their lost or broken replacement program. And PHLY viewers and listeners, you can go to shadyrays.com right now and save 35% off polarized sunglasses with code PHLY. Over 300,000 people have rated Shady Rays 5 stars. So use code PHLY today at shadyrays.com and become the next very satisfied customer. And now let's talk about our friends at Ace Hardware Home Services, because if you have a leaky pipe or air conditioning issues or a faucet that you said you'd fix last fall and now it's like 18 months later and you're still just dealing with it, you have to check out our friends at Ace Hardware Home Services, because now they're not just the helpful hardware folks, they're also the helpful home service and repair folks. From plumbing to heating and cooling, they've got the trusted pros to keep your home humming all year long. Ace Hardware Home Services, they're bringing helpful home, the helpful you love from the store, now to your front door. Visit Ace Hardware Home Services online at acehardwarehomeservices.com to get started on your next project today. All right, Henkel, that was... I do have to give it to Morgan Frost after that one. Good for him. Yeah. You know, he comes in, picks up a couple of assists. Would have been nice if he could have... If we were going to lose in regulation and give up 6... Yeah. It would have been cool if he could have paid off my plus 375 anytime goal.
It wasn't the hardest of FUs, but he got a little in there.
He at least showed up tonight, which is not something Farabee did have that breakaway chance.
I agree with Charlie. It's just not there for him. He can't do it.
He needs summer.
He's trying, yeah.
He really needs...
He needs summer.
He needs summer to get here. But honestly...
Who among us?
I thought that last year.
That's a good point.
I did think that last year as well. Yeah. We talked about him enough in pregame, though. I'm going to get back to Andrei Kuzmenko, because he ends up playing, like I said, over 18 and a half minutes, third most amongst the forwards, and it's like fifth most on the team. The coach really seems to like Andrei Kuzmenko, and for good reason. This team can't score.
No.
He seems adept at that. He seems like a guy, maybe he can't shoot to 27% or whatever the hell he shot the year he had 39 goals.
Probably not.
But he knows how to create some offense.
Yes.
And not many other guys on this team know how to do that.
No, he seems very creative. He and Meech on the power play seem to have some really good chemistry forming. It's fun to watch the two of them together. He's just like a fun player. And I know that this is, we've talked about it 1,000 times. This is what he does. He gets to a new team. He does it really well. Whatever. I'm enjoying it. He's a lot of fun to watch. And it's exciting to have another guy. There's just not, Travis Konecny used to be one of these guys. Lately, he's obviously got something going on. But a guy, when he's on the ice, you think there's a pretty solid chance the Flyers might do something on this shift because that guy's out there. Michkov is that guy. Konecny, overall, is that guy. Sure. Kuzmenko, for now, is that guy too. And it's fun to have another one of them because we don't have that many.
No, and I just wish he was a little bit younger, because he is the exact kind of guy I want this team.
I like your
this distressed asset thing. I just think about players like what happened in Washington with Pierre-Luc Dubois, a guy who yes, has disappointed in so many places, but you know there's potential there. And once they're kind of maybe in the right situation or realize this is their last chance to really make it, whatever the situation is, like you get a little bit more out of them, and if they finally reach that potential, like those are the types of players I would love to see this team bring in cheap. Now the $5.5 million, that's out of the question.
No.
Like what he's making now, completely out of the question.
He's got to know that. If he just wants money, he's going to have to go back to Russia.
He has to go back to the KHL. Yeah, I just don't see a world in which he's going to be able to get the $4 or $5 million.
There's no team that's going to give him that. Not just the Flyers.
I would be surprised, especially considering his, like you said, this pattern. He shows up somewhere, and then he's good, and then he's not. Like, who's giving him a multi-year contract based on the pattern of his career?
It'd be a wild
It would be surprising.
idea.
I do want to go to TK real quick.
Yeah.
Yes, he only has 2 goals now in his last 21 games. He's got 18 points. Like, he is racking up assists. He is doing some things.
Stuff.
It's not as if he's completely fallen off the map.
No, but he scores goals.
He had 20 goals
Yeah.
through 41 games. That is very easy math. He was on pace for 40.
Yeah.
Now it's like, is he going to get to 25?
I mean, we were talking about him like getting to 100 points.
Yes.
And that
seems he could turn it back on. But it would be very surprising at this point. And I really wanted it for him. I don't know if this is an injury. I've been kind of thinking, all right, there might be.
I thought so, but it's been going on for so long.
It might be something the matter with his like wrist or elbow or something that's just hindering his shooting because his shots per game are down. In the couple of games leading up to this one, he was starting to shoot more, like way more than he had in the previous games. And now tonight was, oh, great. This is the when the NHL totally resets its box score and you can't bring anything up.
When that happens.
Yeah, but so I don't know how many shots on goal he had.
69.
He did ring that one off the pipe. Obviously doesn't count, but that one of the, like, I just thought his shot hasn't had the same zip.
Yeah.
Even that shootout attempt the other night, you could tell, okay, maybe he's setting up that flip move where it's kind of that fade away. He goes left and then tries to flip it back over the goalie's glove. It's like, all right, maybe Hellebuck scouted it and he's trying to go low. But even in that, like, you hit him right in the skate. If you put something on it, it bounces off the skate into the net. And that just kind of died. Like, didn't seem like it had that shot. At least seemed like it had some real zip off the post tonight. But I wish he could get it going because I know what he's done this year. And I think he's still playing pretty well. I will also say, who can get him the puck? Right now, Scott Laughton is his center. Maybe he has to facilitate more because who's going to make the plays? Owen Tippett, not exactly known for his playmaking.
No.
Scott Laughton, kind of a north-south style player. I don't really see him as a guy who's going to distribute a ton. Maybe this is just his role, but based on Charlie's comments, he's not happy with the way he's playing, despite the points total isn't bad.
I mean, understandably.
Yeah.
He was, like you said, he was scoring at a pretty good clip, and then it just died. And there's no way you can be happy with that. And it's also probably extremely frustrating to be getting a bunch of assists and not being able to score a goal to save your life. I'm sure it's pretty annoying when you're an NHL hockey player. But, I mean, I don't want to say I hope he's injured, but, like, I kind of hope he's injured. Because otherwise, it just fell off. You know what I mean?
It would at least be an explanation.
Yeah.
Like, there is I think he was shooting like 20% or something. Like,
That's how
all right, it's going to regress a little. His on-ice shooting percentage, just what the team was doing when he was out there. They were scoring a ton, and it's just well above average. There's going to be some regression. But when a guy has 20 goals at the halfway point, after 20 more games, he should have more than 2.
Yes.
Like that's just anyone in a 20-21 game.
I'm not a math expert, but I think you're on this.
Like, even if it regresses a little, you're hoping
5 goals
for more than
10 goals?
2.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
I think we have a decent number of super chats tonight. Okay. So before we hit that, let us hit tonight's Tankathon spin. That's right.
Bro,
I'm
feeling
time
good about it tonight.
for Tankathon. The Flyers find themselves in that 7 hole still. So well within the top 10.
No Miami.
Nice regulation loss for all the Tank fans out there tonight. So without further ado, Brenna, spin that wheel. All right, simulating here. And they fall to 8th. Who wins? San Jose, Anaheim, Chicago come away with the top 3.
Yuck.
Yeah, the league can't allow such a thing.
How many are we just doing Edmonton again with San Jose? Like, how many are they going to get? Enough already with them.
Enough. And honestly, I'm good with Anaheim. They have enough young players.
Yeah.
They're fine.
No.
It's given the way things are going in Chicago, if they're going to fix it. I like that we can do this because Charlie's not here. You know, I could just say I think it's all fixed, and you agree with me.
I don't disagree.
Yeah, I mean, you know, not everything's on the up and up. That's what I'm saying.
Hardly anything is.
Very few things are like normal.
No,
you know,
pretty much nothing at this point.
Just to get to the last thing I wanted to say about Matvei Michkov. So he's not at 20. He's at least right now at 19.
Thursday.
Yeah, they haven't updated it yet. So he's at 19 goals, 20 games left. Where do you think he ends up?
I bet he gets 30.
You think he can have 10 in the next 20?
Yeah, why not?
I like it a lot.
Yeah.
I am hoping
every other game. There's 47,000 games between here and the end of the season somehow.
If he gets hot this week, I am hoping for 25. Because you look at the Flyers, the rookies with 20 goals 20 goals in their rookie seasons. Lindros, 41, huge number.
41.
Remberg, 38. Then there's Brian Propp, 34. Ron Flockhart, 33. Bill Barber, 30. No one's ever had 25. It's Andre Lacroix and Matt Reed in 6th place.
Matt Reed.
With 24 apiece. I would like to see
25.
I would like to see 25. More than that would be great. More than 6 goals.
Infinitely doable.
6 goals in the last 20 games. You know, that's what I'm looking for from Noah Cates. Gotta believe you can get more than that out of Michkov. Maybe you get that first career hat trick in there to move things along a bit. But I think we can get to 25 at the very least. 30 would be pretty cool because get that
power play going, Rocky.
Like, that's the same number as Bill Barber, who, as we all know, scored 420 goals in his NHL career, which makes him my all-time favorite. Between that and winning the 98 Calder Cup, it's hard to say there's a better Flyer ever than Bill Barber.
Mark Recchi got him fired.
Do not
correct me.
Mark Recchi, Keith Primo, most of the guys in the locker room. Yeah. Anyway, all right, let's hit the super chats to get through the rest of tonight's program, and we lead it off with our old pal JH. His first one here. Dear Sam Ersson and the Wells Fargo Center recording, I did not have an enjoyable event experience. Still an Ersson person, though.
I respect your commitment.
Yeah. I'm still like rooting for Ersson, and I think he can play a role. It's just like, what's he at now? I think this was like career start 93. If I can bring it up real fast here. Let's see. He has made, this was start number 93, appearance number 98 for Sam Ersson.
Good for him.
He is 25. He won't be 26 till October. I'm not saying he can't be better than this. I think he's an NHL goalie. I think he'd make a damn good backup. But after nearly 100 games, I am ready to say I know he's not a number 1.
Yeah, I feel like the science is settled on Sam Ersson. Like, I like the dude. I would love for him to be better than this because he's the goaltender on my favorite hockey team.
Yeah.
But I just don't think he is. I think he's this. And like that first goal went in, and you and I were both like, all right, there it is.
Yeah, that's
one of those.
That
and you just knew immediately because
the rush goal where he didn't move.
Okay.
What are you
doing?
What are you looking at, bro?
All right.
Like that, and that's something we saw a ton last year, especially during his bad stretch.
Yeah.
Like, if he's not good in the first 2 minutes, get him the hell out of there.
Yeah, you got to get him out
There's no point in this, and they probably left him in for one too many. But that's like, I just keep looking. I just keep bringing up Ersson's hockey reference career 893. This season, 893. Last year, a 282 goals against. This year, a 282 goals against.
Some might say that's what he is.
This is probably just who he is. Yeah, you put a better team in front of him. Maybe he's a 900, 902 goalie as a backup, league average. Right. I bet you he's perfectly average, which is what you want out of a backup tandem guy.
A 1B
but
is his ceiling.
I just can't say he's anything more than that. It's almost 100 games into his career.
I don't expect anything more from him.
There's not much more to say about Ersson, but I do like him.
He's doing his best.
Yeah. All right. Next one here from our pal JH. Mother of God, that was some ugly dogwater hockey for both teams. Michkov got a goal and regulation L, so solid.
Or did he?
Yeah, or did he? We are still waiting.
I'm writing a sternly worded letter.
Maybe
to
they
Toronto.
changed it back.
Maybe by tomorrow when we wake up.
I just can't believe. Like the other night on that high stick, the Kuzmenko goal that got taken away. Mm-hmm. Yeah, probably a high stick, but whatever the hell the call on the ice was going to be was all it was going to be. Yeah. I can't believe they were able to find an angle that definitively said, oh no, Kutz touched that before it crossed the line. Just surprising to me is all.
Why did we have to look that hard?
The only thing I can think of is Michkov was like, that was Kutz's. And
maybe.
Like, you know, guys used to do that with Knuble a lot because he'd never speak up. And so they'd like go to the scorer and go like, he got that one, you know?
Michkov, knock it off.
Stop it. That's for next year.
Stop it. Yeah.
Do that stuff next year. This year, we're trying to win.
We're doing a thing.
We're trying to win some Calder Trophy futures here over at our presenting sponsor, Bet365. Another one from our first one here from Gary B. What's up, Gary? Mish Potts a goal at least tonight. Love you, Bill, Kelly, and Charlie. Let's go Flyers.
I'm going to say when we wake up tomorrow, we're going to get a gift.
People's opinion of this game is completely changed.
Yes.
Like, the regulation loss, especially if you're looking at like Tankathon like we do every day.
Yeah.
You're like, all right, that's fine. But it's like, great. It is a great outcome if Mish gets his 20th. Right. And now everyone's like, they took it away? And now people are upset about the game, not because they lost and because the goalie sucked, but because they took away what was, essentially the 5-3 goal and gave it to Sean Couturier, who no one cares if he scores or not.
No.
Like, it's not even like, they gave it to Tyson Forster or something. That's cool. Yeah. No, it's Sean Couturier. We don't care about his offensive numbers a little bit.
Not even a little. All
right, next one here, again, from JH. Love it, pal. The Calder Trophy fix is in. What's this? PAB NHL took 39's goal away, and Kutz touched it after. F this BS. Comcast needs to buy the NHL building and evict them now. I think the NHL, at least I heard the other day that they rented that building in New York.
I don't think they have the whole building. I think it's just some floors.
I think it's some floors
I don't even know who owns buildings in New York. Everyone rents them.
Yeah. Before we go any further, I do want to say we appreciate those of you watching on TV. Head over to allphly.com for more of the show as we wrap up with the last couple of super chats here. One more from our buddy Gary B. Is it bad? I want to see Fetty when I'm in Toronto, when I'm there in a couple of weeks for the game. Well, here's the thing. Ersson playing poorly right now, and from an entertainment perspective, Fedotov is just funnier. Like, that's what
entertaining is one way to put it.
I mean, it's wild. We were in here on Saturday, and Fedotov played very well against the Jets. Charlie on like half the saves is just laughing his ass off.
Yeah, he looks insane.
It's fun to watch. Like, it is just objectively more fun to see. He's just so unpredictable. I like the way he plays the puck too. It's not always the right decision.
Never play the puck.
But I enjoy it. For a team that like wins and losses don't really matter, I enjoy seeing him do wild stuff. So I'm right there with you, Gary. And we will wrap it up with Prince Punk. We are once again joined by royalty. Can't stay for the show, so just take my money. Thanks. That's the best thing I could possibly hear. Yeah. I'm sure you were here long enough at least to register as a view. So very much appreciate that, Prince Punk. And that is all the time we have for you on PHLY Flyers postgame presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app and use code PHLY365 when you sign up. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. We are once again off tomorrow. Of course, listen, the schedule says off. If they do something, we'll figure out a way to talk to you. We always do. So stay tuned for that. Make sure you're following us right here on the YouTube page. So when something like that happens, you've already set your reminder bell. You get a little notification. You're like, oh, the Flyers must have done something because my notification bell's going off on an off day. There it is right there. Follow us right here on the YouTube page. Never miss a live show. Follow us on Twitter as well at PHLY_Flyers. And never forget about the podcast. Just search PHLY Flyers wherever you get your podcasts. That's it for us. I am Bill Matz. That is Kelly Hinkle. Until Thursday, let's go Flyers.
We all silly like the mayor.